So what's interesting is that in Lauren's session in particular, he had drawn this pentagonal structure that was enclosed within a crisscrossed structure type of thing, and it was curved. It kind of looked like a five-sided slide type of thing. And initially we thought it may have been a park, which didn't make a whole lot of sense because there was nothing at this park, but the park happened to have a pentagonal area, but it wasn't a structure. This was every indication was that it was a structure because it had wood and it had textures associated that weren't associated with the cement structure of the pentagon on the ground. So we knew that couldn't be it, but it was a pentagon. Well, as it turns out, there was this church of all places. It had a skateboarding ramp. In fact, it was a pentagonal five-sided skateboarding ramp, and it was enclosed in an area that was surrounded by a chain link fence. And what was really interesting is that even in his site template, there were pieces of this structure within that area that were curved, that he had drawn proportionally correct, but that weren't attached to the pentagonal structure. And they were right where they were supposed to be if you juxtaposed his drawing over the actual physical site. So that was a really good session. And of course there were the mountains in the background, so there were mountains back there and that he got as well as structures nearby to that.
I remember when I was looking at the sessions initially, the resulting sessions, and from the analysis that Michael Ruiz was looking upon and presenting to us, and I noticed that I sketched what appeared to be a structure that used to be a house but was transformed into a business type of center. And I was looking at my data, and as we're driving around, I noticed a house that was converted into a church, of all places, and it was right off the main street, and it was the actual feature that you would see driving along that main street within that 2-mile radius. And from there again, once we pulled in, we started to see the other recognizable features that were present around there, which was around the corner, and that was the skate park. And the skate park was situated within a parking lot area, and there were numerous ramps that appeared to be in the site template of Lauren's work.
So what Bob drew, which was this really nondescript building, and it was really odd because one of the things that he had as a piece of data, it was what we call an analogy, analytical overlay signal line, was that it was somehow a residence that had been converted into a business. And that's really interesting because that nondescript building was right next to the thing that Lauren drew, that it was within 50 feet. And from that, it was apparent that this building was once a house. And in fact, buttressed to the back of that building was a house that had, of all things, a playpen, which also happened to be something that was incorporated into Bob's site template.
We walked around the environment and we saw the numerous features that were in our sketches. It was a bit of awe because this was the first operational target where I could actually go to a physical place and test the site template to the actual location.
So there was just a lot of elements within both of their site templates across multiple sessions that gave us the indication that we had found the correct place.
So as we walked in and we met the secretary of the location, she walked us to an area. I turned over to Lauren and I said, "Man, we ran this optimum location. I wonder if it even took care of the budget, the ability for us to provide in what our budget was allocated for. And I kind of whispered to him as she was talking to Mike. I said, I wonder if it's going to be like 200. I just picked the number. I said 200. And a couple moments later, she responded to Mike the actual quote. She said, "Oh, just $200 for that day." And I remember I wanted to like laugh in awe that I turned around. I straight turned around, walked away, and Lauren like knew was going through my mind. And that was just more confirmation that when we ran this optimum location, it even not just gave us the location, but allocated for the budget that we had for that workshop.
And when we found out how much it was going to cost us, it truly was the optimum location, because we got it for a great price. It was a nice professional room, conference room, to have our first workshop, and yeah, it was very successful. All because I waited till the last minute to use remote viewing to find it.